very interesting person is coming to us. I am talking about Carson Hoffman, and he does something with his ad creative that I think very few other people do inside of our space. Of course, he's got some Jason Levin in him with, being absurd and stirring up a little controversy for some reactions, but also my man does very pointedly out of home advertising. He's making big billboards, and very few other people in our space are. We need him inside this show. Welcome Carson Hoffman in here. Get in here, Carson.
What's up, fellas?
Appreciate
the introduction. I'm honored to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Brother,
Absolutely.
We needed you in here. Carson, I think that you and I agree on something that just very few others, too few people do inside of our space. There's a lot of a kind of a lame, self-hating, limiting belief among marketers and advertisers about themselves and their own work that people hate ads. And I totally disagree. I disagree completely. This is one of our core beliefs at this show is that ads are not bad. People hate bad ads. That's what they hate. If you could, though, if you do agree with that, and I think you do, make the case for us why people hating ads is wrong. Just give us some foundational perspective on that and what you do.
So, I mean, I agree. Like a lot of people say in our industry, people hate ads. The problem with that statement is people don't hate ads for real. They hate what's not relevant to them. And one of the biggest things that I tell people is like, if you want to be able to sell your product to the right people, you need to be able to connect with them and relate to them. This is why, like for us, and I think why a lot of organic agencies get it right. I'm seeing a lot of meme and skit agencies come out of the woodworks nowadays, but they get the relevancy right? Like that's why memes and skits work so well, because people can relate to those moments. And advertising is no different. It's just you're putting money behind it. Right. Exactly. So it's if you don't know how to relate to customers or make them feel something on an emotional level and provide value, then people are going to hate your ads. I think it's something like 49% of people actually enjoy ads when it's from a brand they like. And think about the Super Bowl. This proves everything wrong in itself. People will legitimately just sit to watch commercials.
Exactly.
Everyday consumers, not just, us. So it's things like that where when you hear that statement, it's like, okay, well, people don't hate ads. They might hate your ads. They might hate your ads. But let's be honest as well. If you're scrolling the feed and, a skit comes up and it happens to have ad at the bottom left, you think you're going to scroll just because of that? No, that's not how it works. That's you're playing against human psychology if you think people just hate ads for the reason because there's money behind it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the easiest case in point in my household is anytime we're watching football, especially the Texas Longhorns here, anytime my girls, their favorite moments in the entire game are the commercials. That's what they watch. That's what they watch it for. They want to see the commercials,
It's true. And just to kind of dive on that point a little bit further, nowadays we have our phones right at our hands when we're watching connected TV or watching regular TV. But I want to know, because this is what I do. Anytime I hear or see an insurance commercial, especially like Progressive, Liberty Mutual, stuff like that, I look at the TV, and Progressive has done a great job of this, of relating to people, especially in the like, we can't help you not become your parents. I mean,
great.
It's brilliant. That's probably the best campaign any insurance company has ever run. But I look at those because I'm like, oh, I know these are pretty funny.
Yeah. It's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
They had one that related super well to me when the guy's talking to the valet, and I used to be a valet in college. And I was like, dads that talk to valets talk exactly like this. And they try to always make the joke. Every time they make the joke of, well, can you bring around the Ferrari? That's mine. And they made that joke. I'm like, this is every valet's day, every day. And I was like, it's a great ad. It's a wonderful ad that they did. That's so funny.
That's what I do. I always talk. I always talk to the valet.
You can't do it.
I do. I always do.
Carson, why do we always get in this like kind of stage with brands where they're safe, they're defaulting to safe, and they have to kind of push against and be like, oh, the feedback is always that's not on brand for us. Like, how do you push through that? And why are brands always just let's play it safe, let's play it boring?
So, I mean, this will probably piss off quite a lot of brand owners, but you don't have a brand yet. Until I just see your logo and it makes me feel something, you don't have a brand. It's true.
So
Like
true.
you have to be
So true.
massive, and it's comes to a point where eventually you just get into this cycle of when you think too much about the brand, everything just becomes too constrained, right? Like we know creativity loves constraint, but when you take the box from right here down to here, you're working with a lot less.
Yeah.
Right. If you open that conversation up, you start to explore different angles, different formats, different ways of just thinking about everything. And one thing I like to say is if you want to think outside the box, you got to get rid of the box.
No.
So I think like when you talk too much about brand and that is just everything to you, you start to, I guess, turn that box from cardboard to metal, right? It's very restrictive.
Carson, you have any examples of getting a little dangerous with it, advertising wise? Maybe it has potential to make somebody mad. Either in the core customer segment or just outside of it, and maybe brand founders, I don't know about that, and maybe you were a little nervous about it too, but you just went ahead and you kind of worked your way through there. Any examples come to mind of doing that and seeing some big wins?
Yeah. I won't share the brand since I haven't had prior consent, but I will share the ad itself. And we started with a brand back in November and we're still working with them. And we decided that we wanted to run a news headline ad, just news headline, kind of like the like Puberty and Barstool and those guys do for their organics.
Yeah.
So the headline was something to the effect of my girlfriend's mad at me because I found my new favorite late night snack.
All right.
And so we put that up and I think within 3 days was like top spender, top of the account just overall. And, we knew what we were doing because we know the audience that we want to reach. We know it's male. We know it's, very much so like gym bros. And, we put it out there and the founders are very lenient with what we were able to do for the most part. So we put that out there and it was ripping for quite a while, but it's stuff like that, right? Like you want to stir the pot. And I know a lot of people in the ad industry might get a little bit twisted on this one, but you need to create a conversation of some sort, right? Like what's going to make people care? If you're in the middle, you don't have the left or the right coming to save you, right? Piss the left off, the right will come back to defend you.
Yeah.
It's all about creating like a cult, a community.
Yeah. It sounds, it sounds more shareable. It sounds commentable, that headline that you shared. Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I was just going to say, this relates so much to what Oren John talked to us about, where a brand has to be interesting or else it's completely forgettable. And he's looking right now for brands that are doing interesting things. Do you see any brands in the wild that are maybe not clients of yours directly that you're still like, that's really interesting? I find that what they're doing is very interesting. It's not boring. I'm not going to fall asleep. And it's pretty awesome. I think more brands should kind of take those type of leaps like they're doing.
That's a great question. Well, first, I think just because of who you had on, Robbie and Jupiter, that campaign is quite what I like to do. I mean, that's like right up the alley of what you need to be doing. And especially like talk about seizing a moment and turn it into something that's going to make you more money. That was a brilliant idea. Other brands that are crushing it right now. Let's see. I think Cadence is a brand to look at, and they do it right from a lot of perspectives. Not only just forget about their meta stuff. They do really well on that. They test different formats, different angles, whatever. What I just talked about with somebody this past week was they do a brilliant job of turning things into everything as a community for them. They have their audience. It's runners, right? It's people who are everyday athletes, people who are elite athletes. It's the athlete in general. But they do a great job of like bringing people together and making social moments out of those, in-person events. And I think that's really special. Like they're a big one I look at right now in terms of just overall brand and and honestly, just marketing head to toe. It's kind of a masterclass.
There's one that Phil Keel is constantly sharing on his
I love
Twitter.
Phil.
Oh my God. I do too. I mean, we've had him on the show. There's a specific brand.
I know. Yeah.
I know exactly what you're
sharing.
talking about. Yeah.
I mean,
It's how do we
go
cross
ahead.
this? I don't even know how we cross this. It's helpful for a male audience exclusively. How about that?
Yeah, it's helpful for it's helpful for fertility. How about that?
Yeah,
It's
there we
helpful
go.
for fertility.
You really, you brushed that up. That was nice.
Specifically for a male audience.
Yeah,
I mean, to be honest,
those ads are awesome, but I love Phil.
They're awesome.
It's so provocative that it I like have a reaction it grosses me out so much, but it causes a reaction. I shame away from even like saying it out loud.
Yeah,
like that's how significant it is. Tell me this.
Another quick
go ahead,
brand
Carson.
that I thought of too. I like what Rotten's doing. The brand, they do a great job, and I know they've got a lot of good people behind them as well, but they do a wonderful job of doing stuff a little bit more outside the box.
Yeah, they have an interesting, I mean, it's an interesting product too, but the way that they show it and reveal it and like bring you into the whole thing, very interesting. Tell me about this, Carson. You're one of the few people that I know who in our space who also does out of home work. I mean, brother, tell me about that. Tell me about making billboards, things out in the real world, how that's different from making Facebook ads, and some examples of who you worked with, and just give us context around that, because of course I always see them and I wonder about it, but I've never advertised in a space like that. It must be different.
It is, yeah, it's very different, and it can be, depending on the brand, like it can be very hard to sell for the most part. But, what we're making a very big push this year in out of home for a couple of reasons. The first one is just in person, I think, is getting to a point where it becomes way more of an asset than just being online. With AI, with just kind of diversifying yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Number two is shareability. If you make a billboard worthwhile, people will post it on their own socials, just like, look at this billboard I saw. So that's another reason. And the third one is we've kind of realized that out of home is a great opportunity to get on social media and build an entire campaign around it. I mean, a great example that I'd like to think of is Ramp. I mean, they do a wonderful job out of home just with billboards themselves, but social campaigns. First thing that comes to mind, obviously, their Super Bowl ad. That was incredible. Yeah. That's the type of stuff that we're really pushing for this year. And we did a couple billboards last year. We did one with Freebird in Times Square. We did a couple with a franchise called Barbaritos. We were working on one with a current client of ours that ended up being too narrow of a push to get it to happen at the right time. I think what we're going to do is push it to November timeline. And there's a couple things that line up that I'm not going to share too much about, but we were very excited and then it fell through, unfortunately. But there's a lot of opportunity to do the out of home stuff. And then in addition, create, skits and BTS content, and even just take pictures to run on Meta.
Yeah.
Right? Like you get so much out of having that and being able to do activations and all this other stuff. Another thing that I kind of consider out of home is those activations. Like last week I was at South by and one of my buddies, I helped him live stream for 12 hours, just making clay pottery for clay.com.
That was for Clay? That was for Clay.
It was Aiden.
Aiden's the man. Aiden is the man. This is the. We need to have Aiden on the show.
You do need to have Aiden on the show. He's the man.
Okay, well, tell us about that. Tell us about that specifically, because I saw that and I just could not believe when I saw it. I could not believe that was actually for Clay, because you make the pottery and then he actually ate it. I mean, he ate the clay.
Yeah, he paid one of our buddies $1,000 to just eat clay. I think I posted the video as well. But yeah, it was crazy. I mean, we had 25 friends come out throughout the day to support. We must have stopped 150 people that day and just told them about Clay.
All right.
But the biggest value especially I think the biggest value is going to come from the clips that we got. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like you take it from in person and do the IRL stuff. And, you know, if this is a billboard, you could get 1 million impressions in a month, but then you take it online, you could get up to 30, right?
Yeah.
So it's that type of stuff that I'm very bullish on. And, you know, the hardest sell is, you know, why should we do this if it's going to cost us more and we're going to get less impressions? And the reason is honest to God, it's kind of just a big baller move. Like you're signaling to everybody else that like you're a legit company if you can afford out of home.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. So it's
true.
a little bit of social proof as well.
It's true. I think it's a fair point.
It sounds like you're running some pretty provocative ads. Is there an ad that you kind of put together and you were nervous to launch, but then it absolutely crushed in the end and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have been nervous about that. That was amazing. Because you're kind of going, you're stretching a little far where you're like, all right, we gotta push the agenda a little bit today. All right, we gotta push the agenda again today. You know, that can be a little nerve-wracking.
Maybe it'll be the Clay eater, you know. Maybe it'll end up being the Clay eater. You know?
Wild. We were like, oh, well, hopefully they don't come and chew our asses out for that one. But I would say, honestly, the one that I talked about earlier with my girlfriend's mad at me because I found this is my new favorite late night snack. Like we have a couple others that probably aren't appropriate for the live stream, but they tend to do really well. You know, and one of my philosophy when I really started this was too many people are so safe with what they do. And we talk about it all the time. It's harder now more than ever to get and keep and convert attention. So how are we going to be different than everybody else? So we're going to do crazy stuff, right? And that doesn't have to be, you know, sexual or cursing or anything, you know, provocative in any way. It just needs to be different enough for people to be like, what am I watching and why? It just keep their attention. Because if you can get attention, keep it, then you convert it.
Well, eating Clay may be what does it. Maybe become Clay's best performing content of all time.
I'm hoping so.
The favorite creative that you have shared that I like the best is it's the ketone IQ. The ketone IQ with the you know, the shot, and then underneath it, it's like the measurement.
A marathon of energy in every shot.
Yeah. Exactly. 26.2 miles. You know, that to me, that's my favorite piece of ad creative that you've shared.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We were very happy with that one. So I'll kind of spoil it. That was the one we were going to try to get up for the LA Marathon.
Oh, that would have been baller. That would have been baller.
Oh. Yes. And it unfortunately didn't go through, but we've talked about it more. We're going to try to make it happen. Get it up for for an event.
What a great team over there too. What they're doing with Rampage Jackson, I think they're doing
with
Rampage
John Jones.
Jackson. John Jones, that's who it is. With John Jones, I mean, nuts. And then Michael's running in like a full suit, like a full like ketone
bottle. Yeah.
It's just nuts. So that's an amazing brand to work with and an amazing product too.
They are awesome.
A lot of
shout out to Michael and Greg. You guys definitely need to have those guys on. They're the best.
Oh man, we will. Sure. We will. And I will say that as a billboard for the LA Marathon would have been a flex. I mean, that would have been a flex. I like that. I like that. Sometimes you just got to flex on them. And create that moment. And I saw the one with Freebird when they were in Times Square. I mean, it's kind of like, wow, who is this? I didn't know that they were here, and that's worth spending a few dollars on. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was that was a cool one. Sorry, my phone's going off right now. I don't want to get up and get it. But
I'm telling them we got a more important conversation going on.
Exactly. It's probably someone trying to hunt me down and ask for money. But No, yeah, that was a very, very fun campaign. And that happened to be my first ever. Got me a little bit more addicted to what it was about, and very cool experience. We love those guys as well. So it's definitely, I think, an interesting play. We're also exploring the idea of working with more software companies for the most part, because I think they have a wide range of ways that they want to get out there and be a little bit more viral on social media. I think it's a great way for them to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally agree with that.
B2B software has to.
Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate you making the time and coming on the show, Carson, and flexing some of those out of home ad creative stories, my friend. Man, tell people where to find you, where to work with Madvertising, how to get a hold of you if they want to get one of those things up.
Yes. So you can find me, Hoffman, and creative. Feel free to DM me, or you can go to our website, madvertisingcreative.com, and reach out there. But yeah, check us out, and appreciate you guys having me. This has been a great time.
Absolutely, man. We look forward to having you back. Thanks for joining us, Carson.
See you.
Wow. It's a very interesting